Well, hello there. Hope your day is well. Hope your New Year's well is also. Your New Year's is well also. Hey, listen, I know it's been a while since I did an update. I think right before New Year's Eve. I got to tell you, the Folly Beach down here where I'm at, Woody's Pizza down the road. I think more people came to see the big meatball drop in front of Woody's Pizza than they did to watch the big, huge sand pair of flip-flops drop that the city did. I mean, the meatball was a lot more fun. Oh, well, anyway. Listen, I'm Philip Branton, the revoked civil servant. It's the Monday of the national championship. You know, I went to Carolina. I'm a big Gamecock fan, but I got to give it to the. And even though we're SEC, I've got to give it to my home state boys up there in Clemson. I kind of hope they walk the dog, so to speak, on Alabama. I guess we'll see tonight. But listen, I wanted to give you a couple of updates here. I'm going to put the links to the articles that I do reference in the comment section there, or in the information section there for the video, so you can link on it and follow along if you like. But there's been a lot happening, hasn't there? Shutdown's still going, Trump going back and forth about a wall, new people get sworn in Congress, start cussing up, come on, Anyway, such is informational warfare tactics in our age here in 2019. But anyway, a couple of them I want to, offer you. There's one out of the state newspaper, okay? And that talks about the federal officials indicting this guy for dumping his tanker full of poisonous liquids in a creek. That's a major story right there. Most people, it only ran, from what I understand, or from what I've been able to look at in the state newspaper. But none of the other papers in South Carolina, from what I've seen, really gave it any news. Aiken Standard, the Independent up there near Clemson, Greenville News, Go Upstate with the Spartanburg Herald, Myrtle Beach Times, South Myrtle Times or Georgetown Times. Not from what I've seen. So that's kind of a little example of how certain information is controlled. Okay. Oh, other ones are the company out of California, Palantir, starting to hire sales executives when they used to laugh at them. Okay, so that's a big, huge kind of like inkling as to what's coming down because of their IPO. The Pentagon is seeking a list of ethical principles for IA, or AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. Let's see. President Trump talked about him trying to curb certain reports coming out. All reports are curbed coming out. So this article right here with what he's doing, there's a reason he's doing it. But a lot of what has been, from what I've witnessed, it's really not that strategic essay as such. Okay. Of course, once again here in South Carolina, the SCANA CEO retires. Gets a big, huge flanking pension from Dominion. At least that's what the article is alleging. instead of it coming directly from SCANA. And then, of course, the chief information officer gets promoted. A big red flag, because he's probably as guilty or more guilty than any of the other people within SCANA. And so, you know. And then the last article is about Bayer, a German company, going after Monsanto. Now, of course, I alluded to Monsanto, or I didn't allude, discussed Monsanto and certain fallout in a previous video. I encourage you to go back and look at that. But this is just, you're going to see, is kind of like, you know, adding rocks to a huge load of gravel. Basically, I'm sorry, it's Wells Fargo. Bayer's Monsanto is suing Wells Fargo. So you got to think of that dynamic. Think about Wells Fargo and understand that banking history and how Wells Fargo has manipulated information and oversees laundering of funds. Okay? So that's all behind this. That's all behind this. So, you know, the first one, want to discuss is about the South Carolina man dumping tankers of poisonous liquids into the Richland Creek. Now, of course, this is just an alleged, but normally when something comes out like this, especially for the timing, after the first of the fiscal year, after November elections, after the new director of DHEC gets appointed, there is a lot of dynamics behind the scenes, especially for analysts like me, whether you're at SPAWAR Atlantic, SPAWAR Pacific, SPAWAR headquarters, whether you're, you know, NSA, CIA, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Interior, South Carolina DHEC, Health Environment Control. The timing of all this, especially with John Monk, who is a strategic writer there for the state newspaper. It would have been interesting to see the back and forth between what he reported and Cindy Ross Scope reported before she got let go. Because of her coverage leading up to the local elections within Richland County, statewide, Henry McMaster, Alan Wilson. It would, if she was still at the state newspaper, how that dynamic would be happening. Okay. So, because from what I've seen, she is not, it's probably as an agreement to her separation and whatever type of compensation she got from D.C. McClatchy, she probably can't, there's like a non-compete clause. Because let's say she got on, just like I'm doing right here, or got on her Facebook Live, or started her own YouTube channel, and started, peppering and offering her analysis of what's happening. There's certain implications behind that, especially with advertisers, all that kind of good stuff with respect to D.C. McClatchy. And of course, that's where all this kind of leads back to. But this article is a must-read. Even going into the comment sections, there's been some great comments. I've gone back and forth with a number of people because of the dynamics, who knew what, when, how the data was accessed not only by SLED, by South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, who knew what when, how was that information within that state agency divulged, when did McMaster know, when he didn't, the state attorneys general, all of that. So that is what a case study is in data manipulation, because basically John Monk is just writing about it for the first time on January 2nd. I'm sorry, January 4th, at right before noon, 11:49 a.m. is what it says. So how long did John Monk prepare this report? How long did he have it in his back pocket? A month, 3 months, 6 months? So that is key, because that will put on the hook for any type of fair and equitable trial. All that data is going to be pulled by those, or should be, and that will show or shed light on just how corrupt the two lawyers are involved with this case on either side. What information do they bring to bear? Okay, they're going to try to keep it like a little molehill. We want the whole mountain. Okay, we want the avalanche, especially in this case. Okay, we got Nikki Haley to resign, USC professors out. All right, it's the data behind this. There's a reason John Monk is even reporting it. Okay, because he's strategic with this. So when you read this, when you watch my video, now being 7 days on, this is the 7th of January. Okay, I've let a little time percolate to see what type of reactions were happening. Okay? What phones were ringing. Okay. Of course, this is within the government shutdown. Okay? How is this information going back up through Spay War Atlantic? Okay. Because I go in and I explain in the comment section that I tagged to the article that you can read for yourself of the implications that John Monk is making with this. Okay? Huge implications. Okay? Not just for A&D or Republic Services. Okay, because it goes in and it explains how this driver was supposed to take a tanker from Richland County all the way over to Florence County. Hugh Leatherman, very powerful state senator. Okay. Stopped making that trip and just, pulled off on the side of the road near a little creek and dumped his load. Once again, history repeating itself, because we just had certain similar activity, not only in Lyman, South Carolina, but it goes all the way back to my experience in 1983 through 87, basically with my dad. And how I basically, confronted my own mayor. Okay. At the time in high school. So it's coming full circle, because here I am, I'm talking about this article, but I'm in Folly Beach. And to be a strategic pawn, which I consider myself, think about Fairfield County. And over the years, rate increase after rate increase after rate increase. Lights keep coming up and down. If I don't move, it's what happens. I guess I could set it to where it doesn't. But anyway, we're going on 14 minutes. It's just like my mayor here, do I go down and beat on his desk? No. Because that's basically what they want you to do, so they can have you arrested. Hey, he's coming in here beating on my desk. He can't do that. But it's just like with what I'm doing right now. Ever since Fairfield County, basically the third rate increase, when? 2013, 2014. Now my mayor's a nice guy, Tim Goodwin from Folly Beach. As most people, who seek public office are. Okay? But when you get in there, you got to do something. And don't play around with status quo. After the third rate increase, all right, we're going to harness our tide, we're going to harness our wind, we're going to harness our solar, and we're going to introduce competition on our island to send a signal after the third rate increase. Don't wait till the ninth one. Oh, and by the way, don't sit there behind your mayor's desk and not say anything. They know what's going on. We're just a little island here in South Carolina, but a lot of wealth every month leaves our island to go pay SCANA and Santee Cooper and now Dominion Energy. How aware, were the mayors of South Carolina in saying, whoa, wait a second. That Public Service Commission, they would have meetings where they would want to get citizen feedback. What type of feedback were the mayors and the city council giving them? That's what we elect them to do. Me, civil servant, I support troops overseas while they're over there dying for us. What are we doing here on the home front? So that dynamic is at play. Spay War just can't sit back and do nothing. Spay War Pacific, Spay War Atlantic, or Spay War headquarters. There's FBI agents, CIA, NSA right here in the state of South Carolina. Where have they been? So that's what I'm trying to get you and educate you about when you read articles like this of where you work. Your CEO, your manager, your boss, after that third rate increase. Okay, now with this article, wait a second. Hey, I work at a restaurant. Say you work at a restaurant. And DHEC comes in and gives you an inspection once a year for your little plaque for A or B or C or F. Hey, you got to have a clean bathroom. You got to clean your utensils. See where I'm going with this? Huge implications. So John Monk is not stupid. He knows this. All the engineers and technicians, once they read this article and they sit there and think it's Spay War Atlantic, holy cow, because we're downstream. Yes. And then they think, well, what's Chris Miller and our captain done to inform us about the implications of this? Well, how valid is this data? Okay. I imply in the comment section, hey, this all happened before November elections. This issue was not even raised, okay, before the November elections. Primarily, real reason probably the South Carolina DHEC director wasn't named, because anybody interviewing for that position, guys, what am I walking into? Don't you worry about that. We just need a director. No, guys, if I'm applying for this position, what am I walking into here at South Carolina DHEC? What political issues do we have at play? Oh, well, we got one guy dumping stuff down here on, well, that's major. Right before an election, you've not told anybody? Okay? Okay? So that's what's at play. Behind the scenes. And so the reason I give you this article to consider. Now think about the dumping in Iraq and Afghanistan as an example. Or other issues, okay, that have political implications that our analysts who are observing not only social media, but open source intelligence. How do they connect those dots? Okay. So we're going on 20 minutes right here on this one little article. I think I want to end right here. I don't want, number one, they get, it takes too long to upload them if they get too long. You can only take so much. I seriously want you to consider these things and think about what you are actually witnessing. ABC, CNN, Fox News. Wait a second. You know? They're no different than John Monk. Okay? They're no different than John Monk. Lights again. So, let me do that. I'll catch you on the flip side for segment 2. And let's see what, let's see here. That one was about the dumping. You can read that article. Like I said, I don't want to steal John's thunder. He's a nice guy. I've never met him, He tries hard, But just like Cindy Roscoe, when the heat gets turned up, he'll be out too. And then who's going to lose out? The readers of South Carolina. Okay. He's a gifted writer. But any of these writers, journalists who actually do their job in a timely manner, they're out. Kind of like me. Hey, no, your security clearance is revoked. Sorry. Well, hey, your data's getting manipulated. Yeah. So, just think. In my situation alone, do you even think leadership at Spay World Land is going to read this article and think of the possibilities of what's happening behind the scenes? The new captain that came on in October, what type of command-wide meetings has he had? Across all codes. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah. So, let me do that. Like I say, I'll link to this in the information section along with this video for you to read and consider, especially for the people here in South Carolina. Whether you want friends, high school, college, co-workers, just concerned, Facebook, connectivity people. Because this is just one instance. Like I say previously, this happened similar in Lyman, South Carolina. Okay? And there's other things behind the scenes that are driving it. Just like in my historical case with Exide Battery. Yes, a couple of loads of dirt, contaminated soil got moved. But there was a whole other things behind the scenes with what was being done. Okay? So I want to offer that to you, and we'll catch you on the flip side for segment 2 on January, I think, 7. 2019. See you shortly. Thanks.